Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Beginner to Expert. This is part 25 Angular 7 tutorial. So in this tutorial I will discuss about data. So how to get data from a user, how to process the data and how to send to server to processing that data. Okay, so let's get started. Today I will discuss in this session that is create a employee registration UI with minimal fields, that is four fields. I will take your name, valid email, 10-digit mobile number and date of birth. Okay, and keep three button list inside the form. Okay, here I will keep three button. One is close and another two is reset and submit. So once user click on submit button, so form will be validated and user input data will be in the console. Okay, and once user click on a reset button, so all field to be reset means as it is opening time, so all field will be blank. And validate form using template driven with the help of NgModel. Okay, so today I will discuss how to validate Angular form by using NgModel. Okay, and this is basically name is template driven validation. Okay, so after template driven I will discuss how to validate by using reactive form. So in upcoming video I will show that also. And to achieve this design I take help from bootstrap 4. Okay, so once user click on that plus icon, so one pop-up will come, and inside that pop-up we will render the register new employee component. Okay, earlier session I discussed this how to open a dialog and or how to use Angular material dialog inside an existing project. So here I already have done that. So if you are new Angular material, then you can go through my previous video. So here once I click that blank employee register component actually is rendering inside the dialog. So there I kept one button, so on click of that close button, dialog should be closed. Okay, so here, so for time being I created that design. So I will copy the design and paste it over here. I have already done that design part. I will copy and I will paste it over here. So I am summarizing what I have done. So this is the title, and this is icon, that close dialog, this icon, red icon in the right side. So here two options is there to close the dialog. One is the right hand side right corner and left hand bottom corner. Okay, the two button is there. One is icon and another is button. So any of the option, if user click, then dialog should be closed. Okay, so that is why I attached one I local event, local method, that is close dialog, and also I attached that same event here as well, that close dialog button. And in footer another two button actually is there, reset and submit. So what I have done, one button is type is button and another button type is submit. So here uh, that submit button type is submit is because, so once user click on that button, so Angular should validate the form. Okay, and before means submitting the form, it should validate every input is correct or not. Okay, if it is not correct, then submit button itself will be disabled. Okay, and here reset I attached on local method, that is called on reset. So I will define that in component. Okay, so here our intention to be reset the view model. Okay, so here I will create one private method. So init model. So this model is responsible to initiate a view model. So here I will take one public property, that is emp model, and which will be null by default. And here I will register that, I will assign some property on that model, emp model. Here suppose name, which will be a string type, email, phone, and date of birth. So as I discussed, so name, email, 10-digit mobile number, and date of birth. So date of birth in short form DOB. So on click of a reset button, so this model should be reinitiate. That means all field to be to be set as blank value. Okay, and now next step to create the. Okay, here I took one form tag and I attach one event that is called submit, and I attach another local method on form submit. So what I will do here, I will declare that on form submit, and I will console it, console.log this.emp model. Okay, so this emp model will have those properties, and these properties I will bind to the respective field with the help of NgModel. So NgModel basically it used to read user data and bind data to the field. So it works as a two-way data binding. Whenever if you change anything, so it will reflect in the model itself. And another property I kept, that is autocomplete of, means if user suppose you I'm submitting and I'm writing something, and if I submit it by with the help of form tag. Okay, so once it is submitted, by default browser it will cache the uh, inputs. Okay, so next time it will be available whenever if you click on that field. Okay, to avoid that, to prevent to auto populate the fields a value, so I kept the property autocomplete off. Okay, okay, next step, first I kept one input for the name, and this name is having NgModel. Okay, so as NgModel, as I said, this works as a two-way data binding. So NgModel, first I will decorate with the bracket. Okay, because this is kind of attribute. Okay, and now next step, the parenthesis. Why I kept in parenthesis? Because it it will act as an event as well, because whenever user change anything, so it will automatically reflect to the model. That means this works as an input event. Okay, so or you can say change event. On changing any input, it will automatically fired. So that is why I decorated with the parenthesis as well. So that means NgModel actually works two ways. One is the directive and another is the event. So if you decorate the two uh, you know decorator, then it will acts as an two-way data binding. Okay, and if you use NgModel, okay, so it should have a name property, okay, name attribute, otherwise it can't validate the form. Okay, it will throw an error. Okay, I will show you if I remove the name. And next thing is autocomplete off, and here is a placeholder, and another is the name. So okay, so let me remove this, and I will show you how to validate the form. Okay, okay, now save the page, open the browser. Okay, one error actually came in the console. Let us check what is the error. NgModel, okay, can't bind to NgModel since it is not a known property of input. Okay, so NgModel actually comes from Angular forms that module. Okay, I think we didn't register that module inside the emp register module. Okay, here it is not registered. Okay, so what we'll do, forms module. So this forms module comes from Angular forms package. Actually this package help us to bind the data or retrieve the data or validate the form as well with the help of NgModel. Okay, so we need to import it. Now save the page. So in generally means in short form, if you are dealing with form tag, then you must have forms module inside your features module. Okay, another error is coming. Mat form field is not a known element. Okay, that means, so that Angular, I am using Angular material. So as I am using over here, you can check in the design part, mat form field. So this mat form field actually comes from Angular material. Okay, as I designed mat module for this, so mat input module, so select module, all the required module actually I imported and exported as well. So what I need to do, I will import this app mat module inside my features module, that is emp register module. Okay, I want that a relative path to be here. Now save the page. Okay, let me increase the size. Okay, so now everything is working fine. Now if I click the register, then that okay, some error is coming. Okay, design is coming but partially, cannot read property name of undefined. Okay, name all are about to name. What is there? Okay, so my object name is something different here. Object name is new employee. Okay, that is why that a name actually property is not finding of undefined. So as new emp is not there in my component, so it is undefined, and undefined doesn't have any property. Okay, so here my emp model. Okay, new emp, I will rename it. Okay, now save the page. Now if I click register, the error is coming. What is that? Cannot read property of null. Mhm. Okay, okay, what I am missing out. First, I should, as I initiated new emp with the null value, so it should not, it doesn't have any property like a name, email, phone, date of birth. Okay, so that is why actually it is throwing an error. So what I need to do here, this dot init model, I need to call that method. So this method will initiate the empty, model. Okay, now my design is ready. Okay, so everything looks fine. Okay, now my second requirement is, I don't want, far means once I open the dialog, it should not blink on the first, field. Okay, so it should be like this. Once user click any of the field, that time it will react. Okay, so to achieve, or to prevent the autofocus of the field here, as we are using angular material, so I am opening the dialog from emp, that container. Okay, here component file. Okay, here I registered that on register click. So from here we are passing emp register component. So here, we need to what to do, auto. So autofocus property is there. Autofocus by default it is actually true. I need to set is at false. Now save the page. Okay, now it is working as we are expecting. Okay, now next step, if I put some input. Okay, so once I press enter, or if I press submit, it will log in the console. Okay, I pressed enter, so it logged each field value. Okay, so that is why I kept button type as submit. So once you keep as a button type as submit, so that means user can press enter, or user can click that button. So in both scenario it will submit the form. Okay, and as I registered that submit, so as I registered the submit event on top on the form, so it will submit the data inside on form submit, that method. Okay. Okay, now next step, so user can put unlimited character. Okay, or invalid special character, any of the things user can put, but we need to prevent those, so we need to strict to user that you have to do something. Okay, so here also user can put invalid email, suppose abc. Okay, whatever it is, and also they can you know so instead of 10-digit mobile number, they can put any character as well. Okay, so all the things we need to validate. So how do we validate, I will show you. Okay, so first thing. Okay, also before going to that, if I remove the name property, what will happen? Now click on register, that one error is coming. Okay, so NgModel is used within a form tag. Okay, either the name attribute must be set to, or the form control must be defined as a standalone in the NgModel options. Okay, so as we are using NgModel, so might be we need to validate the form with the help of NgModel. Okay, to in order to achieve that, we must need to set the name attribute. Okay, so this is a default feature of Angular form. Okay, now to achieve the validation, okay, I will take one reference. So as this field represents name, so that is why I kept valid name. So name equal to, so I will export the reference of NgModel to name property. Okay, it could be anything. Okay, but meaningful name I gave as a name. Okay, because this name represents to the input. Okay, so similar way I can use over here email. Okay, and now save the page, go to the browser. Now if I touch anything, or if I doing anything, so it is not validating. Okay, so as we know, the native attribute is there in HTML5, that is called a required attribute. So this attribute help us to indicate or validate the form, so either that field is required or not. Okay, now if I attach this, now this form should throw an error if you touch it. So you can check that it become a red text and border. So that means this field is required. Once you touch, then only it will tell you that this field is required, and that star mark also came. Okay, but we need to show the user what exactly this error means. Okay, so to achieve that, what we need to do, as I exported the reference of this input to name property. So here I will check mat hint. So mat hint is nothing but one component of the Angular material, and this help us to show the information, okay, about this input. Name field is required. Okay, so here I will attach one class, bootstrap class text danger, so it will throw a message with the red color, and here I will star ng if, so if this name dot errors, if it is error dot required. So if name input reference is having a errors object, okay, that is a question mark I given. Otherwise if it is coming null, so it will throw error, because again it will throw error because this null doesn't have any property called required. Okay, so if errors coming, then only that required property we can take. But before that I will show you in as a JSON what this name dot errors is coming. What are the things coming inside this errors object? Okay, now go to browser. Now click on. So first it is coming required, because as I gave required that attribute. So once you type some anything, so it became null. That means form is validated, means this field is validated. Okay, so again once you remove this, again that required property is coming. Okay, and that name also is coming, means message name field is required. Okay. Okay, next thing I want now this field to be a minimum length and maximum length. Okay, in order to achieve that we need to set the HTML5 default attribute, min length, suppose 5, and max length is 15. Okay, so character, so minimum length and maximum length of the character would be 5 and 15. So if it is come like that, next thing I will copy the same mat input, and here I will check that minimum length error is coming or not. Okay, minimum and maximum, that validation is coming or not. According to that, I will show here name field must have at least 5 characters long. Sorry, long. Okay, and here I will change the message as well. So here maximum of 15 character long. Here minimum of this. Okay, now save the page. Okay, once you click, first required is coming. If I press something, then min length is coming. Okay, so min length is an object, and this object having two property, required length and actual length. So required length is means minimum length is 5, and actual length means whatever you typed. So here I type one character. Okay, again if I, then you can check that actual length is actually increasing. Okay, so once it is reached to 5, so it will become null. Okay, so that means minimum length, that validation is achieved. Okay, again if I press something, 2, 5, space will be also considered, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it will not allow me actually to type so greater than 15. Okay, so as I mentioned there, so user cannot type it. Okay, so now my next validation. So this way actually you can validate the each and every field of the form. Okay, so here one problem is, now if I close the dialog, again reload it. Okay, so without typing, without touching the field, it is showing field is required. Okay, I don't want this. So once user, once user click or touch the field or change the value, okay, that time only this field should show the error message. Okay, in order to achieve that, what I will do, I will cut this and I will mat sorry hint. So I will paste it inside that another mat hint. Okay. So what I will do here, I will put one condition ng if this name reference is having means is touched. Okay, this reference means this field is if it is touched or name dot dirty. So this touched means once user click on that field, okay, and dirty means once you change the value, that means the field it became a dirty stage. Okay, so if this two scenario came, then only respective validation message will print in the browser. Okay, so first time it is not showing any message. So as this object is showing, because I am actually here I am uh, printing that object as a JSON, that is why actually it is showing. Now it won't. So here it is nothing is coming. So once user click or touched, then only it will show okay name field is required. Now if I type something, name field must have minimum of 5 character long. Okay, let me put 5 character. Okay, it goes away. Okay, so 15 character already I typed, so it doesn't allow me to type greater than 15. Okay, so this way we can validate. Next step, so until and unless this form is valid, so user cannot submit the form. Okay, so till the time this submit button should be disabled stage. Okay, so how to achieve that? So here as submit button is there, so I will attach one disabled attribute. Okay, so this disabled attribute actually comes from default features of angular HTML5. Okay, so as I decorated this means with the bracket, that means I will going to assign some property inside that disabled. Okay, so here I will put on name of this form, suppose emp register form. So I'll copy this and paste it over here. Dot invalid if this form is invalid. Okay, then only it will be disabled. Okay, once it is valid, then it will be enabled and user can able to submit the form. Okay, some error is coming, cannot read property, invalid or undefined. Okay, sorry. So here what I need to do, I'll export the reference of this form. Okay, this is the name. Template but no directive is export as to set. Okay, so here as I kept the reference of this form, okay, so instead of this name I need to put ng form. Okay, now this reference will have one object, that is form object. Okay, so we missed out. This form object will have a property valid, invalid. Okay, now go to the browser. Okay, here now open that form. Now you can check that button is disabled. Okay, now if I expand it, so preliminary actually it is showing this star mark and this star mark. That means these two field actually indicating that this is mandatory. Okay, once you click and once you touch the form, that it is showing name field is required. Okay, now I'm typing something. Okay, now that form got enabled, that button got enabled, that means form is valid. Okay, now if I remove some character from here, so again this form automatically become invalid. Okay, so how, now next question is how Angular knows about this, means something is changing and form will be valid invalid state. Okay, so actually this is happening due to that NgModel. Okay, so as we attached that NgModel, okay, here, and we took a reference all the NgModel, that means this input, and storing it in our name, and this name will have some property, errors property, and that form valid invalid is happening inside, means with the help of this ng form. Okay, so this ng form, so whenever if you change anything, so it will broadcast some event to Angular core. Okay, that something is happening inside the form. Okay, depending on that your input and what validation you are applied on that field, depending on that Angular will react. Okay, and it will set the form state whether it is valid or invalid. Okay, so this way we can validate the form. Okay, so yeah, that's all for the day. So just try it by yourself, and still if you have any queries, then don't forget to leave a message in the comment section below. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.